WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to center and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room. And watched you and watched you work out in the weight room. And you pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I learned that thing back to biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Welcome to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook. It is a Tuesday morning, and we're live and local and ready to get things rolling. I want to invite you into the conversation at 205-342-9904, the Taco Casa hotline. Open for business. Taco Casa, quality, taste, value, and the biggest cactus in town. Doing it the right way every single day. And this time of the year is a great time of the year, and it's a great time for you to stop by Taco Casa. They have dine-in, drive-through, and carry-out. That's the options for you to get the great food, great service, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. I want to remind you that tonight at 6 p.m., we'll have Alabama Tradition with myself and Ryan Fowler. Alabama Tradition, the past, present, and future of the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's right here on this same channel. Well, on Tide 109, we'll also be simulcasting on Facebook at Alabama Tradition. So you can go to Alabama Tradition and find us there on Facebook as well. We didn't get to a lot of the good, the bad, and the ugly. We didn't talk about a lot of from the weekend yesterday, but that's okay because we have great callers and listeners who interact with us, and we went a little different yesterday. So we'll continue that conversation. We are, still going to be working in terms of not working, but bringing in DC Capstone Report will be joining us here in just a moment. So DC Capstone Report will join us throughout the program. Remember, the phone lines are still open when DC joins the program, so you're able to still be a part of that as well. And then once again, that interaction number is 205-342-9904. I just had, a couple things before I get into the Alabama game. I wanted to give a couple shout outs to some Alabama guys from this past weekend. Henry Ruggs, what a big play. I can't say that he cost the guy his job, but he made a play as the Jets, who are 0-12 now, had a great opportunity to get their first win against the Las Vegas Raiders. That's so weird. I think that's the first time I've ever said that on the airwaves, the Las Vegas Raiders. But Henry Ruggs catching that touchdown winning pass. Did you see that, Joe?
Yeah. Yes, I saw a crazy thing for Greg Williams. He blitzed, pretty much all out blitzed, and left Ruggs on his own on the outside. And the first-round draft pick paid off for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, and here's the question I have. I'm always looking for conspiracies, Joe. So whatever is like obvious, and I do it just to conversation. I understand that, but when I saw that play, that was so crazy. What he did, I was like, did he do it on purpose? Was he trying to secure and make sure that they get that first draft pick of the NFL? Because unlike like the NBA and stuff, if you're the worst record, you secure the first overall pick. So I was like, did Adam Gase, did the head coach tell him, man, let them get this thing? I know that's probably not the case, but it was worth the thought that crossed my mind because it was such a dumb play by a veteran coach. But Greg Williams has already been around some controversy.
Yeah, he actually has made that call before in that same exact situation. Now it paid off for him in a previous situation, but it obviously didn't work out on Sunday.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, Greg Williams was let go, and it was interesting. Some of the guys on NFL Sunday Night, they were like, if I was the owner, I would fire both of them immediately. I would even let them get back in the facility. So both didn't get fired, but Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for the Jets, did lose that. Jalen Hurts got an opportunity to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's hard to say because only a couple years ago, Carson Wentz looked like he was going to be, the next wave of quarterbacks, but he's lost confidence and he seems to be really struggling. And the Eagles finally made a decision to go with Jalen Hurts. And I think Jalen Hurts rewarded them about as well as you could expect in that type of situation. He sparked the team. His first drive, there was a penalty that brought a really nice drive back. He also had a couple of really, really nice passes where he was on the money. And his legs, their offensive line is garbage. And he was able to extend some plays with his legs. So overall, I thought Jalen Hurts would have got a high passing grade in his first performance. Did you get to see any of that, Joe?
Just the highlights, and I'm really happy for him. He did come in and give the Eagles a spark. They're a team. They've had some trouble this year. So
yes.
any goodness for them or any good fortune for them. I got a couple of Eagles fans friends. They've been really hurting. Yeah,
it's been really bad. Wentz, I think, got sacked 4 or 5 times in the first half. So the most sacked quarterback. And had Jalen not been elusive, he probably would have got sacked in his quarter and a half of play at least 2 or 3 times. So it was hurting, but he was able to extend some plays, make some plays. And then I think the threat of him being able to run it also opened it up. And it was good to see Tua back playing well with the Dolphins. So Alabama guys every week you could probably highlight 2 or 3 different guys, but both of those guys kind of for the first time doing some good stuff for their team. As we get into the game, talk to DC about this, but it was a play that happened really early in the game, but I still think it was a very, very key moment in the game against LSU. LSU was having a lot of success on that first drive and looked like on all accounts, they're going to be able to go down, score, and make this game, a tie game. And I think that momentum may have carried them for a little while. I don't think that LSU team had any chance of staying with Alabama for 4 quarters, but it would have made the first quarter probably a little bit more interesting. But that moment is the first time in a while that I got excited about our defense and felt like we could do something right here. And it's not that big of a deal when you look at the whole scheme of things, but that first time in the first quarter when they went for it on 3rd and 1, didn't get it, and they came back and went for it on 4th down, Joe, to me, that was one of the early key moments in the game that kind of set the stage. I think both teams were testing each other. Of course, LSU had to decide to go for it on fourth down, but I think Coach O was trying to send a message to Alabama when he went for it on 4th and 1. What were your thoughts on that big-time play by the announcer was saying Christian Harris, but to me, the play was made by Will Anderson. He absolutely annihilated the defensive end. I mean, the tackle.
He crashed down real hard. He stuck his helmet right on the running back's kneecap, basically, and didn't allow them to get that first down. I think it was huge for the confidence of the defense.
Yep.
I think the defense is pretty confident anyways, but to be able to bow up and get a big stop right there, I think that spurred them on to have a good evening.
I agree with that. Like I said, defense is playing well. Defense is playing with confidence. But in reality, they've not had a lot of physical moments where they've had a chance to show their physicality. And short yardage is one of those moments in the game where manhood is tested. We're going to send our big boys against your big boys, and the best man's going to win. And so that's why I said I think Coach O is going to send a message. Because you hear people say it all the time. Hey, show confidence in your offensive line by going for it when it's 4th and 1 or, short yardage play. And like I said, I don't know that it would have made a difference in the overall scheme of the game, but I do think it absolutely, in that moment, had a lot to do with the confidence that was displayed the rest of the game. Another key moment, have you got to see the video of Coach O yet?
Screaming on the sidelines, throwing that headset after Devontae Smith's touchdown.
Yeah, that was his. I think that was his second touchdown on the. I call it a pick play. But have you heard his comments after what happened there?
Well, it was one of the few times they weren't double teaming Devontae Smith, I believe is what I read. He wanted to double Devontae pretty much the whole night, and that was an instance where they were not, and he burned them.
Yeah, it's like I'm going if you were supposed to be double teaming this guy all night, and he had 219 yards in the first half, you need to reassess your double team strategy. I mean, I know Devontae is really good, but I think LSU they are in trouble. I mean, they were absolutely out of sorts, but that was a great play. I thought that was a key moment in the game because just like he tried to put confidence in his players by going for it on 4th down, if you're a defensive player and you hear that and you see your coach acting that way and screaming and shouting, what do you think that communicates to the rest of the team? I mean, panic, yes. I mean, it was like, dude, you just told your team, I mean, that this is hopeless. He absolutely looked like someone who panicked and lost it. Well, he did panic and lose it. And so that was two key moments that I thought, based on confidence, just absolutely let the Alabama players know from a defensive side of the ball, we got this. And from an offensive side of the ball, they can't contain us, and they know it. And it's going to be a long night. And, of course, it did proceed to be that 55-17. We got some other good, maybe a couple bad, ugly that we'll talk about with DC. If you want to get in on the conversation, please go ahead and do that at 205-342-9904. We'll get your calls worked in. We'll also take your comments on Facebook. You can go to the Martin Houston Live page, and you can get all the comments there. Coming back on the other side, we will continue, and we'll be bringing DC Capstone Report into the conversation.
Tide 109 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet on the roadways on a very chilly Tuesday morning. Of course, if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. The holiday sales event is in full swing at Townsend Nissan. Rebates, extra incentives, and top dollar for your trade right now at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In the early days out at the distillery, I always had my dog, Dog Joe, with me. I would buy food in bulk, and before you knew it, there were dogs and cats coming by. It evolved into our Vodka for Dog People program. Now we support animal wellness initiatives to help make spay and neuter services available in underserved areas across the country. There have always been dogs around the distillery and the office. It just kind of sets the tone for the place. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to townsquaretuscaloosa.com now for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers. There's no cost and no obligation. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising here on WTID. Get started today. Call 205-479-5540 or visit townsquaretuscaloosa.com.
Hey, this is David DeSantis from the all-new Benton Nissan of Bessemer, inviting you to shop with us your favorite way, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, you're just down the road or one click away. Are you looking for a new Nissan? Compare us. Looking for a great used vehicle? Shop us online and get all the info. Remember, if we can't save you $1,000, we'll give you $500. Benton Bessemer, right down the road or one click away. Check us out right now online.
The holidays mean the kitchen is getting a lot of love right now, and those stainless steel surfaces are feeling a lot too, with smudges and fingerprints. Give your kitchen a gift of its own from Lowe's with stainless steel kitchen appliances from Whirlpool that are fingerprint and smudge resistant. Less time cleaning means more time together in everyone's favorite hangout spot. A gift for your kitchen brings joy to all. Find gifts all season long at Lowe's, home for the holidays. Offer valid on select appliances. See store for details. U.S. only.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cool and dry weather continues today. The sky's sunny, the high 54. Here tonight, the low at 35. For tomorrow and Thursday, lots of sunshine both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow is 62. Thursday's high at 66. I'm James Spann of the ADC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Scott Smith and Sophomore Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com. Hello, I'm Martin Houston. And while I get really excited about fall season, I love the holiday season even more. Merry Christmas from the Tide 109 family and the Martin Houston Show. Roll Tide.
Martin, you're hot in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. It is a beautiful morning, and it is closing in on Christmas. And DC, I know you love Christmas, so I'll give you a chance to give a shout out to the folks. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show. How you doing, sir?
Well, good morning, Martin. Glad to be here this morning. Yes, you're right. I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. There's no better time to share the joy and the love of Jesus Christ at Christmas time. Because everybody, when he's talking about Christmas, got to hear the story about the birth of Jesus.
That's right. That's awesome. We'll give more opportunity as we get a little closer for you to do just that. So breaking down Alabama versus LSU. Alabama absolutely annihilating the LSU Tigers. What's your overall assessment of what you saw on Saturday?
Well, I put the podcast up yesterday, and I had to hold myself from chuckling a little bit when I was saying some of the things I was saying. I just couldn't believe I was saying about the Alabama LSU game. You know, how much we've fallen here in 1 year, and I said, and I believe this is true. I don't think there's anybody can contradict me that there was no one watching that game, no one on Alabama sideline, no one on LSU sideline that could say anything different than Alabama was the much better team in that game from start to finish. And I think it even boiled over in Coach O's early meltdown on the sideline early in the first half. And so when you have that kind of and I knew going in there was some problems with LSU teams. I mentioned it about this dissension among the coaches and the players and different things. But when you have that kind of leadership that panics that soon, then it kind of gives a message to the rest of your team. I think Alabama set the stage early on when they had a great 4th and 1 stand there, really exhibited strength and imposed their will on that LSU team. And that's not something that you take lightly in a game like that. That's when a player gets to put a hat on a hat and really go after them. And I think that really set it up for the rest of the game. And then I heard Coach O's comments afterward when he said that that was the only time they were doubling Devontae Smith. And then I laughed and thought, well, if you're doubling somebody, he's already got 200-something yards in the first quarter or first half, then there must be something wrong with your defensive. So it was kind of humorous the way I was having to describe what I thought about the game. I think you would probably agree with that. This is not really a normal LSU game. It
was not normal at all, except for Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith last year had 200 and I think like 12 yards or somewhere in that range. He has in 2 games, he has over 400 yards, almost duplicate type games, except it took him a whole game last year, entire game to get that last year.
80 of those yards came on that one last play from 2 to him and the last play of the game for Alabama. And so, yeah, I think the difference was just the annihilation early on. And just no doubt that anybody watching that game, from announcers to national media to whoever, is going to say that Alabama was the better team on the field that night.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't have came out and said we were trying to double team him. I would have came out and said we were trying to, because all night they were, they kept pointing out everything. I can't understand why Stingley's not on him. When it was a Stingley versus Devontae Smith, and many people believe Stingley to be one of the best corners in the country. And that's I don't think that's a fluke. I think that's based off of his performance last year and leading into this year. Just when you watch how dominant Devontae was when they were one-on-one or when they even double teamed him, Devontae Smith definitely made some money, I think, on Saturday night.
No doubt. And Devontae Smith exhibited also that speed that everybody says is sneaky speed. I mean, he's got a lot more speed than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him get – I always tell people when people ask me about how fast someone is, and I really don't know their times, but I always go, I've never seen anybody run them down. And that's all you need to know when it comes to guys playing speed. And Devontae's one of those guys. I still don't know what his 40 is, but it's fast enough. Let's just kind of look at some of the good things that happened in that game. We'll start off with Will Anderson. Did Will Anderson finally, in your eyes, DC, live up to the preseason summertime hype around him?
I think I mentioned it yesterday on the podcast. I was very impressed with his play. I think he's coming into his own. I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's got players playing around him that's confident in him and what he's doing. I think 4 tackles, 4 assists, and 2 sacks is by far his best game of the year. But I don't think he's peaked. I think he's getting ready to peak. And I wouldn't be surprised that you won't see him peak in a SEC championship game or a college playoff game and much burst on the scene, much like a Terrell Lewis did that year where he had so many sacks late in one of those championship games to make a difference. So I'm really impressed with him and think that he's really on the right track and getting better every week.
Yeah, well, what do you think has directly led to the to me his last 3 games? If you kind of look, he seems to be settling in, and it kind of sounds funny when you say settling in, but he's playing better. That settling in, I don't mean that he, getting comfortable in the terms of not playing at a high level, but that he's just figuring out how to play the position. What do you think is the biggest change or light switch that went off that has helped him do that?
Well, I think the key to it is, and I know you know this term, Martin, you've heard it before, you played all your life, is that there came a point during the season where he had so much on his mind about trying to do the game, stay in the right gap,
right coverage, do the right thing, that he was anything running through his mind. But there came a point in the season where everything slowed down for him, and that helped him build his confidence. And the more he built his confidence game after game after game, the better he got. And I know that term is the game slowed down for him. Which means that he got comfortable not in his play, but got comfortable in playing the speed of the game that he's playing in the SEC. You know, it's a big jump for a 17-year-old young man to play Georgia high school ball and then jump into an all-SEC schedule without much preparation. So I think we saw in practice what he was doing comfortably against the scout team and other team members. But when he got in the game, he had to have that speed of the game slow down. I think it has done that just for Will Anderson Jr. this year.
I would agree with that, and I think he may be one of the people who benefited from that hiatus where Alabama didn't play for several weeks because of bye week and COVID. I think he's one of those guys that directly benefited from it. And if you don't think it's a thing, I don't know if you got an opportunity to see the Chiefs play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple weeks ago. Did you see that game?
I did.
Yeah, and all the announcers were talking about it was a 4-year window since the Chiefs and the Buccaneers had played. So none of the Buccaneers players had played against the speed of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, you can hear about it and all that. And you go back and look, Patrick Mahomes had almost 400 yards passing in the first half because the DBs just not could adjust to the speed of Hill and company. And then, of course, you saw that slow down as they got adjusted to it. And as professionals, it didn't take them, 5 games, but it did take them a full half before they adjusted. And that's what I think has happened with Will Anderson. Let's bring in Chuck Hunt. Chuck, you're in with Martin Houston and DC Capstone Report. What's on your mind?
Hello, you three. How are you all doing this morning? And I had to give a shout out to Joe for being able to get through to you all. And,
yes.
I have to show him respect. And I was just talking about what happened this past weekend. And it's interesting you're talking about Devontae Smith and many others. My being from Louisiana, I'm looking at the people around here at they were doing all the talking. Now it's been very quiet around here. And I look at Devontae, and he's 60 miles from Baton Rouge from AD. And, Christian Harris and Dylan Moses went to school right there on LSU campus at University. Dylan ended up finishing at IMG Academy. And then, I'm glad Curtis Moore sent a message to me yesterday. I didn't want to leave out Chris Allen. I remember him. He played across town at Southern University Laboratory High School on the campus of HBCU Southern University. I didn't want to leave him out as well. The school that Marcus Spears played at, the guy who coached David coached as well at LSU. Coached him on the 2003 National Championship team. But it shows you right there all the talent here in the state. And I think that's what really got Orange Run when Devontae made that one-handed catch and he lost it to his headset down. I think it was got him because he lost out on a lot of these guys. And he's talking about building a moratorium. But I said, well, one thing about Coach Saban, he's been in this business a long time, and he knows how to get through to young men.
Absolutely, DC. When you look at as an LSU coach, it has to be frustrating when you look out and see Devontae Smith, Dylan Moses, Christian Harris, Christopher Allen, and all of those guys. It has to be not just what he's doing to you, but the fact that he could be doing it for your team.
Most definitely. And he can add Slade Boulder to that as well as some other players on the team.
From CrossFit.
Other players that doesn't play right now that still are on the team that came in these recruiting battles with LSU. I think it has to be kind of demoralizing to a head coach when they say, hey, this is if I missed out on, look how great he's doing for Alabama. But believe you me, Coach Saban uses that to his advantage in his pregame speeches and in his talks to the players. And I think we heard a little bit about it afterwards. You don't hear about it beforehand because they won't put up bulletin board material. But when you hear Coach Saban suddenly say something to the effect, it was LSU had kind of gotten where they believe something about Alabama. We had to go out there and change their thought process about what Alabama was all about. And that just shows you the consistency of the Alabama program. versus the flash in the pan type atmosphere that happened last year at LSU. And that's not derogatory. That happens. You go all sell out for all year and do your thing. And LSU did. They did a great job last year winning the national championship. But to come back this year, falling from the top all the way where they fell, just shows you that they don't have the structure, the process, if you will, to maintain the consistency like Alabama has.
All right. Thanks, Chuck. You got anything else for us?
Well, you talking about Louisiana, I don't want to leave out another guy from the Alabama team. Fedarian Mathis, he's from Winsboro, Louisiana. Booker McFarland's hometown, but he finished high school at Neville. He played at the same school as Cootie Jones, who played at Alabama. I wanted to point that out. Clay Bowden played at the same high school as Luther Davis, Westboro High School, across the Washoe River from me.
Yeah.
And
for Darian
Mathis, because in my opinion, he has been one of the defensive linemen that hasn't gotten enough respect from the media. He has stepped up big time and really imposed his will on the people that he goes up against. And I think he's done a really great job.
Yeah, I would say Fedarian's probably quietly having the most consistent season of all of the defensive linemen, even including Barmore, even though Barmore flashes a lot when he's in. I think Fedarian has probably established himself as the kind of the cornerstone of those interior guys. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it, sir.
All right. You all take care. Bless you all.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Great to see you this morning.
Coming back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation with DC Capstone Report. Phone lines are open, 205-342-9904. And, hey, if you're out today and you need to get that car clean inside and out, stop by Overflow Express Wash, overflowexpresswash.com, right there on Skyland Boulevard, just past Town Square Media Studios and right next door to Alabama 1. That's Overflow Express Wash, helping you keep your car clean inside and out. Also, a location coming off of Hunter Creek Drive and 82 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. That'll be ready this spring, first quarter. So keep your eyes open for that. But in the meantime, stop by the location on Skyland. Andy Phillips and his team has put together a great organization, a great experience, and a great environment. That's Overflow Express Wash, overflowexpresswash.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet on the roadways on a very chilly Tuesday morning. Of course, if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. The holiday sales event is in full swing at Townsend Nissan. Rebates, extra incentives, and top dollar for your trade right now at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Town Square Media Tuscaloosa and the Chamber of Commerce of West Alabama urge you to spend your money right here in West Alabama.
Hi, I'm Rodney Booth of RSB Percussion Northport. We invite you this Christmas season to visit our store and support us locally. We are located at 244 McFarland Boulevard, Northport, in the newly renovated Black River Village. We have drum sets starting at $2.99 and up, guitars at $1.99 and up. Layaway and financing are available.
Shop local, eat local, drink local this Christmas season from Town Square Media Tuscaloosa and the Chamber of Commerce of West Alabama.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring. Hello, I'm Martin Houston, and I'm so excited about this time of the year because it represents not just football, but the season of the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. On behalf of Harvest Church and the Martin Houston Show, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and invite you to join Harvest Church on Sundays at 10 a.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., where we're creating and enabling faithful followers of Christ. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Martin Houston Show and Harvest Church. Martin, you're on 3, 2, 1. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. You know, the DC, when we were talking earlier, Coach O said that there was double teaming. That was the game plan. Curtis Lewis, and I did not see this, did not see the actual player that was interviewed, but Curtis Lewis said an LSU DB said during post-game interview that doubling number 6 wasn't discussed until halftime. Was that a DB saving face? Or do you think that may be the problem, that part of the team thought they were doubling and the other part didn't?
I think that's a microcosm of the problems that were going on with the LSU team with communication and coach translations and all kinds of stuff. It's always clear that Coach O thought they were double teaming him the whole game.
Yeah, that's right. So one of those was saving face.
The problems with the LSU team.
Absolutely. That would definitely explain part of the issue with why they struggled to double team. Either they did not execute on it, or one of the DBs involved in the double team was not aware of it. Either way, it resulted in a big time night for Devontae Smith. Let's bring in D-Nun. D-Nun, you are in with DC Capstone reporting the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, well, just going to touch on a little bit of something there you guys talk about. I mean, honestly, I can kind of understand a lot of stuff getting lost in translation when Coach O was involved. Be a little tough to understand what he's saying, but I did have a lot of family members in Louisiana, Gulfport, Mississippi area that were really mad that the satellite provider in their area was not carrying the game. They was really teed off about it. I think by the end of the game, I hadn't heard anything from them yet, so I don't know what's going on down there.
It's sort of like the Auburn D-Nun, it's sort of like the Auburn people. We were checking after the Auburn game to see if the cell towers were out or all of their phones got some type of bug in Tuscaloosa, because there was no texting after the game.
Yeah, I got no family conversations like I did last year after our game. For some reason, the cell phone towers, the satellite, U.S. mail, everything's going away all of a sudden.
I know y'all joking about that, but a lot of that happened pre-game too. I heard that there was a lot of LSU fans that sold their tickets to Alabama fans. If you actually saw the makeup of the fans in the stands before the game.
Oh, that is so bad.
It's kind of one-sided in the end zones, especially. If you've ever been down there, I ain't gonna lie, Martin. It's one of the best places to go. Maybe because I'm on the field, and when I get to go, I'm on the field with the photography stuff, but it is a really nice environment. I'll give it to them. It is one of the better environments in college football.
Yeah, you know, I was here when they
play in, and it can really affect the game. I think that's what Coach Saban loved about the atmosphere while he coached there. That's what I think he doesn't like coaching in there with a full stadium, because it does affect the game. If you've ever been on the field, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity, of course, to play there I had the opportunity to play there. You said that experience. I was there when we had to go, when they made the changeover to the SEC schedule. And so we had to go down there a couple times, one more time than we would have. So, and it was always one of the funnest places, the loudest places to play, and the fans are passionate. And that just shows you how far this program has fallen. So when you start thinking about this, DC and D9, last year LSU was on top, and they were all the rage. And a year later, and everybody keeps making excuses saying he lost players to the NFL. Well, Nick Saban has lost players to the NFL every year at a high level. Yes, it's a little different, but do you really think that Alabama would, if we had lost the situation? Part of that's coaching, though. Part of that is, why did everybody want to leave? Why did some guys jump ship when they were not really expected to be able to get drafted high in the NFL, but yet they felt like it was still better than coming back? That shows you just kind of the culture that he has created.
Well, you kind of maybe like a domino effect. One or two guys decided to leave or not play. It's like, you know what? It's going to make it a lot tougher with these guys out there. I'm going to go ahead and do it also. I'll skip it this year too. So kind of a domino effect down there with certain players. But I don't know, Martin, if y'all listened yesterday, Wimp and Mary was talking about something and kind of hit conversation today last night at work. The Heisman Trophy race, I know that Devontae and Mac and all of them will say, hey, we're not worried about that. But, God bless me, in the back of their mind, it has to be something that's there. How much do y'all think really and truly that it may end up hurting both of them, that they're both on the same, could be possibly both looking at that award, and maybe a Florida player or a Clemson player sneaking in there and getting it because it's going to divide the vote up to be with those two guys?
My opinion is I don't think that's going to affect it for a quarterback and a wide receiver, because I think they feed off of each other. But Najee Harris is making a push for the Doak Walker Award and probably some Heisman. So having three on one team, dividing up the offensive production could hurt. But I really believe it's going to come down to the Alabama-Florida game, and if Mac Jones does his thing and defense can stop Kyle Trask and that Florida offense, I think the deal will be done after that game.
I agree.
I met with Wimp yesterday. He said, honestly, they are two totally different style players. Dink and dunk, small 10 yards. Yes, he's got a lot of touchdowns, but Mac is just a totally different quarterback.
Well, the other part is,
Joe, when we play them, I really believe that will be the difference in the game.
And the other part, I'll say this, and I'll let you go, D9. But when you look at Trask has 30-something touchdowns. His team has like 40, okay? No one else on their team is scoring touchdowns. We have the leading receiving touchdown, the leading rushing touchdown. And that's not counting all the touchdowns that our backups have and our tight ends have. So when you start spreading it around and looking at what's happening, one guy has – and I'm not taking anything away from Trask, and I think he should be in the conversation. But one guy has the numbers he has when it comes to touchdowns and everything, because they never run the ball. They have no running game, and no matter where they're at, 20, 15, 10, 5, they're throwing the ball. So I think Mac Jones has it. But I'm of the opinion that I think it can hurt. The better Smitty plays, the more it hurts Mac Jones, because the award has become regional. It is a regional award, and I've seen guys win it because they were in a different region and 2 or 3 players in the same region split votes. Mac Jones, Najee, and Devontae are all having Heisman winning seasons. They just happen to be having it all in the same season on the same team. So hopefully one of them gets it, but we'll see. Thanks, D9. We appreciate it.
Hey, man, God bless and Merry Christmas at the holiday season, and y'all have a good one.
All right. God bless. We got several people on the phone lines waiting. We'll get the break here. Coming back, we'll do a quick rapid fire with Tom, Super Joe, and the other guys. Stay tuned for more right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet on the roadways on a very chilly Tuesday morning. Of course, if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. The holiday sales event is in full swing at Townsend Nissan. Rebates, extra incentives, and top dollar for your trade right now at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread. Good morning. The city of Tuscaloosa restricting access to government buildings and canceling events as COVID-19 cases continue to rise in the area. Dozens of municipal employees are quarantining or isolating at home. Meetings of the city council will be conducted virtually and live streamed to the public. The city's municipal court will also be closed to the public effective next Monday. DCH continues to set records in the number of COVID-19 patients being admitted. 138 this morning, with 38 in intensive care. I'm Don Ark.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
Bom dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say, je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
I tried other language learning apps, and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera. Estoy con fome. Eu no tomé café de mañana.
Je suis des États-Unis et tu viens tu.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
To celebrate State Farm's surprisingly great race, we gave this game day jam surprisingly great lyrics. I sang a lot this year because I called the pro. I am calling State Farm. I gotta make the phone call. We got that coverage here. Take your car and home. I am calling State Farm. I gotta make the phone call. You can just call now. There's a little bit of great race with a little bit of great. You might call now. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Martin Houston, and I really get excited during football season, but nothing excites me as much as the Christmas holiday season. On behalf of the Alabama One family and the Martin Houston Show, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Please stop by one of our branch locations because we'll be open to serve you throughout the Christmas season. And don't forget, you can visit alabama1.org. And once again, Merry Christmas from Alabama One, one together.
Martin, you're hot in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We got a couple callers on the line. We're speaking with DC Capstone Report. DC, tell our listeners where they can find you and what you got up there for them.
Well, the podcast is up already. It's at dccapstonereport.com. You can also find it at the Facebook page, DC Capstone Report. So like us on Facebook. You'll follow me on Twitter at DavidCott50, DavidCott50. And always check out Lance Shores, his production websites at RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com for some great Alabama content.
All right, that's DC Capstone presented by FreelancePictures.com and RollTidePictures.com. That's Lance.
RollTideBama.com.
RollTideBama.com. and DC Capstone Report. Let's go. Super Joe, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, man?
I'm talking about that victory over LSU. Now, what I look at is we could have ran a school board on them, but LSU really shouldn't have had no more than, let's see, I just say about maybe 10 because that guy dropped that ball before he crossed that line. I mean, I don't know why the world Coach Saban didn't challenge that. I mean, can you give me some clarity on that?
Yeah, he dropped the ball, but actually what happened was the ball did not go out of bounds, and the ball didn't go through the end of the end zone, which would have called a touchback. But what happened was a LSU player who really saw him drop the ball was to gain possession of it. But when they checked it afterwards, they called it a touchdown. So it would have been a fumble and a 1-yard touchdown by the person who recovered the ball.
That's right. The wide receiver did not get a touchdown on that play. And that showed you I saw a whole lot of the SEC, dogging SEC, but they actually did review it. And the people who were in the stadium in the press box said it was explained to them. But Gary and Brad talked a while and didn't realize, they did review it, and this is what happened. So it was a review. It was the right call. And for those who don't know, that as long as there's an immediate and obvious recovery by either opposing team, if Alabama had picked that ball up, even though they had called it a touchdown, if Alabama had recovered it, then they would have gotten the possession of the ball as a touchback. So thanks, Super Joe. You got anything else for us real quick?
I'll tell you what, we put two Tigers to sleep in 2 weeks straight. See what, now we're going to go ahead and make the bacon and fry the hogs this week.
All right.
If I understand right.
All right, yes. That's correct. Roll Tide. All right, Tom, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with DC Capstone. DC Capstone Report. What's on your mind, man?
Morning, Martin. Morning, DC. Enjoy Tuesdays. I want to add to what Super Joe just brought up about the call on the goal line. Look, that side judge throwed his hands up for touchdown. And when that happened, everybody quit running. And I don't understand all this confusion that Alabama gets on the instant replay. I mean, can y'all speak to the play ending with a referee throwing his hands up in the air for a touchdown? I know time's short, and I look forward to next week. Thank you.
No problem. Go ahead, DC.
But the idea is when the referee throws his hands up for a touchdown, the play is still live for review. And they went ahead and reviewed it, and about 20 seconds into that afterwards, a LSU player is the first player to recover the fumble. So actually the touchdown was a recovered fumble by LSU's player number 13. You rewatched it, you'll see it about 20 seconds in. So it was a fumble on the play on review, and they reviewed it, and it was a touchdown by LSU because they were the first ones to possess the ball after on a review. If Alabama had possessed the ball, it would have been Alabama's ball. It was a fumble, though. They did call it correctly.
Yeah, and some people say, well, the Alabama players quit playing because he threw up his hands. Well, actually, the Alabama player quit chasing him long before that, and the LSU player didn't. So that's the reality. The LSU player saw that it was a fumble from the way it looked in the video. It looked like he saw it and ran over and picked it up.
Number 13 was the one to see that it was a fumble and run over and pick the ball up for a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think had he not picked it up and they blew it dead, had he not picked it up and they blew it dead, then it may have been Alabama's ball because it would have been dead in the end zone on a fumble. And, I don't know how they would have handled that had the LSU player not recovered it. I'm not sure if it would have been dead or not. But anyway, I like the rule where you can't fumble forward. And if you do fumble forward, then you have to recover it because it just changes the ability of guys that throw the ball into the end zone. DC, I flip back over to you. We just got a few minutes left in the program. What do you see happening with Jaleel Billingsley, and how big of a role do you think he's going to have as we move throughout the rest of this season?
Well, I think they're creating a bigger role each week for him. And I said on a podcast this week that I think that this Arkansas game, because of the way Arkansas plays defense, because of the way they're going to concentrate on trying to stop Devontae Smith, that Jaleel Billings is apt to have a big game on the cross routes over the middle. So I think his athleticism, his ability to catch the ball and run after the catch is really big. And I look for him to emerge even greater in the championship games and in the playoff game.
I'm looking for the same thing. Christian Harris. I mean, this guy, has he supplanted Dylan Moses in the middle as the dominant alpha dog on this defense?
I don't think he supplanted Dylan Moses. I think Dylan Moses will always be the alpha dog on the defense, but I think it shows you what happens when you take the things away from him having to do and allow him to concentrate on what he does best. That's play with great passion and athletic ability. Christian Harris is doing a fantastic job.
The guy who's known as the most, to me, I call him old school nasty. How much did you enjoy the antics of Landon Dickerson in this game?
I loved it. He was my ugly pick for this game because he was nasty ugly. Getting to jump off sides, to taunting him afterwards, to even falling down when the guy hit him. I think he just loves playing the game. He loves being aggressive, and he needs that in an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. The guy is clearly one of the most aggressive human beings I think I've ever seen, but it shows you the other side of why he's such a leader on that, because the way he was pointing out the guys, I said, it's like big kids having their moment. And I missed the flop live, but when I got to go back and see it, it was pretty hilarious. Closing thoughts. I know we didn't talk much about Arkansas. I'm sure you broke that down on the podcast, so please make sure you go to DC. Go ahead.
Check out the podcast. It is a setup for a letdown game, but I think Alabama overcomes it and wins 66-10.
Whoo, 66-10. I think Alabama. I have not made up my prediction on the score, but I think Alabama more than covers. DC Capstone Report. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas before you get out of here.
Yeah, I want to do that. But just got to take a time to shout out my church, Harvest Church, out in Coker, Alabama. This Saturday from 11 to 12:30, we'll give away free Christmas food bags and toys. We want to serve the community, so come out this Saturday at Harvest Church in Coker. Merry Christmas, everyone. I appreciate you allowing me to come on your show, Martin, and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. That's Harvest Church this Saturday. Come out if you're in need. Come by and we will be there to serve you. That's Harvest Church in Coker. Thanks, DC. Thanks, callers. Thanks, listeners. Thanks, Joe. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9.
Thanks, Joe.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks.
Thanks, guys. Sorry I didn't get to all of your comments, but I definitely appreciate them. Cedric, you definitely had some good things there. So thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Take advantage of the holiday sales event at Townsend Nissan with extra incentives and top dollar on your trade. Get them today. I'm Captain Ray.